My name's Beasley. I'm a personal trainer for the last about 16, 17 years. And, you know, just over the years, just learning all kinds of different things, you know, everything from barbell work, traditional bodybuilding type stuff, kettlebells, ropes, you know, and everything in between, you know. Every year we learn something new. I think strength and conditioning is really, really good if people know what the heck they're doing, you know. You know, jiu-jitsu guys, they need an interesting combination of mobility, stability in their joints, you know, strength in a lot of different positions, and the endurance to be and the power to be able to last, you know, for a 10-minute match or whatever it may be. So I think a really well-rounded strength and conditioning coach can help guys in a lot of different ways. You know, a lot of guys might have asymmetries from left to right. They might have a weak stomach or weak glutes. Maybe they got low back pain. You know, there's all kinds of things that can happen that are just, that can be fixed if somebody knows what to look for. I mean, how much time people are going to spend on the mat is really up to them, you know. Obviously skill is number one, right? Somebody that has black belt skill doesn't need to work quite as hard to get a position as a, you know, blue belt with less experience. So skill definitely takes priority. But as far as how much time people need for strength and conditioning, these days I think a lot of guys are so overtrained. They might spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day in the gym, some of them. And you know, that gets a bit excessive because you're just running the body down. There's only so much you can handle. And then you're adding strength and conditioning on top of that. I think if somebody's rolling 5, 6 days a week, some of those guys twice a day, strength and conditioning, you're gonna have to pull some things to make it work, you know. And you can get a lot done in 2, 3 days a week. Just doing total body work, a lot of compound exercises, and a well-rounded program that's gonna help them be better. Again, I said, what exercise is going to work best for each person? Everybody's different, you know. If it's a brand spanking new guy, like maybe he's in high school and he just finished puberty and never lifted a weight in his life, you know, those guys just need body awareness and control. And you know, if you know and you're educated enough, body weight training can be incredibly beneficial and it can make you super strong. And I think people need to be able to control their own body weight first before you start adding all these crazy toys to the mix. Because you know, like at our gym, we got all kinds of toys, but a lot of them, like Atlas stones and stuff like that. People see all the strongman stuff and think, oh damn, you got to do strongman stuff if you want to get strong. And I think there's lessons to be learned from strongmen and powerlifters and kettlebell guys, and you can learn stuff from everybody. But at the beginning, I think that body weight training, you need to be able to control your own body and space first, you know? And I think that's a really, really good place for people to start. I think least beneficial, again, I don't know that it's specific for jiu-jitsu, but I think the biggest mistake people make is that they go to YouTube University and they just want to learn stuff that they see. So, you know, if they watch the Mendez brothers or Andre Galvao, or all these guys that are like world champions doing a certain exercise, they're like, oh shoot, they'll tag their friends and then be like, bro, we gotta try this. And it's like, well, the question that you should be asking is, what was he doing or what were they doing when they were in your position, right? Because you're talking about guys that have been training for 20, 30 years, like since they were little kids. And what they're doing today is maybe stacked upon a foundation that they've been building for years, right? So I think that's a huge mistake people make. They might see jiu-jitsu guys or NFL guys or just people doing combine training or all this fancy, exciting stuff, but they fail to lay a foundation of just good, solid strength first before they start adding all the crazy stuff. I think the biggest thing that hurts people's progress in the gym is their ego, you know? And, you know, we're all guilty of it. But I think people want to, I think that the whole thing like we were talking about earlier is just that more is better. You know, and a lot of guys, I think maybe they got, you know, Pan Ams are coming up here in a couple weeks, and they might think, all right, cool, well, I'm going to compete in Pan Ams, and they might be nervous because they don't have a skill set. And then they want to do more and more and more, and as they run themselves down, then they try to perform and their performance sucks because they're all ground up, and then they're all, crap, my cardio's bad. So then on top of all the jiu-jitsu training, then they want to go do runs and sprints and all these other cardio stuff to make themselves better, when the truth is they're just spiraling themselves downward and end up their performance sucks, or they get injured, or whatever it is, or they might just have a poor performance at that tournament. And I really think that people just need to take a step back. They need to understand more about how the body works and recovers, and stimulate the body, don't annihilate it, you know? And just be comfortable with the fact that you're gonna grow as a competitor over long periods of time. If you've been training for like a year or two, don't get upset when you lose a match, you know? You need to get in there and just get some mat time and competition time and get better at your craft. And that can take 10, 15, 20 years, you know? So, just being happy with the process. I'm not really a big supplement guy, you know? I think there's a lot of people make fun of it. You know, a lot of people, just to get their diet straight is priority number one, right? If you don't drink water, right? If you don't eat vegetables and just eat like good quality foods first, you can't pile, there's no amount of supplements you're gonna pile on a shitty diet and make it better, you know? So I think just getting that foundation first. If I do recommend anything, is basics like liquid minerals, you know, greens, fish oils, stuff like that, that are just good solid foundations that we're supposed to get in our diet anyway, but most people don't, you know? So that's kind of, I just stick to real foundational basic stuff. Yeah, the only really thing that we do with jiu-jitsu, it's different because they weigh in day of. Sometimes right before they step on the mat, they're stepping on the scale. So, you know, you can't cut a whole lot of water. You can't use diuretics and all these other crazy things that people are doing to cut weight. It all just comes back to, you need to have a good foundation for your rest, for your nutrition, for your training, so that you're naturally lean, strong, and prepared for your match, you know? Versus doing all this crazy manipulation of water and all these different things that are available. But I think just the diet and stuff like that first is the best place to start. Yeah, I mean, number one is just the volume. You know, my buddy Martin Rooney, he had the best advice. He's compared it to dosages. You know, and people need to understand that the dosage for a lot of the exercise stuff is way skewed. So if you had a buddy that was taking, let's say he was taking Advil, and right in front of your face he took like 15 Advil, you'd be like, dude, what the heck are you doing, you know? If you're out with your buddies and they have like 15, 20 drinks, you're like, you know, what's going on with this guy? But if they do the same thing with exercise these days, it's cool. Right? And they just want to bury themselves into the floor and make themselves tired, not so much better. And like we were talking about earlier, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that competitors need to understand. Not letting their nerves get in the way for them to train more and more and more and more. Right? They just need to create a schedule with their coach. They need to keep it within bounds that are allowing them to perform at a good level, not grinding themselves into the dirt, taking enough time off, and you know, I think that's the best place to start there. Patient. Be patient, you know. You know, where we're at, we're real fortunate. There's so many guys that are, you know, some of the best dudes on earth. And, you know, find a good coach with fruit on their tree and shut up, listen, you know, and just be consistent and be okay with the process. And you know, you're gonna go through some growing pains like everybody does, no matter whether it's jiu-jitsu or a business or whatever it is. And you just gotta go through the process and earn your stripes, you know? Well, I have my gym here is in Innovative Results, is in Costa Mesa, California. And you guys can look us up online and find us pretty quick. And then I have an MMA or combat sports strength and conditioning specific website called fightcampconditioning.com.